You watched the Canucks game on Saturday.
Oh, I did.
We got a quick turnaround this week.
You know who else watched the Canucks game?
Canada?
The Toronto Maple Leafs watched the Canucks game because that let me tell you, Thatcher Demko, 4 more years, $5 million. Okay, now I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just maybe this is a little joke. Maybe this is a little funny. Do we build a Jim Benning statue outside of Rogers Arena? I think
Well, he's built. Listen, he's built a hell of a core. All right, he built,
okay.
Hang on, he did a lot. He's built a hell of a core in Vancouver, and then through his actions, whether they are positive or negative, he's built a hell of a core in Calgary, and. So there's going to be a statue down by the casino outside in Calgary there.
I swear to God, they should. They absolutely should just build a giant bank. You know what we should do?
Build a Jim Benning statue.
We should make a GoFundMe so we can go to Calgary and have just like a
How many cars are we going to take to get there?
Well, we'll have a convoy, I think. Because we're going to fight for Jim Benning's freedom, God damn it. No, so we're gonna go get like a plaster molded Jim Benning and put it outside the Saddle.
Yeah, we should.
I think they should do that.
I mean, there's identity theft. You know,
Yeah.
they've acquired countless players that maybe we wanted them to, or maybe we didn't. But there was a lot of positives there with Jimmy's fingerprints.
I'll remind you of my favorite tweet of that timeline in October, where I believe it was Rob Williams. He was like, the Canucks can't lose Tanev, Markstrom, Toffoli, and who was the fourth person? There was one more person. Tanev, Markstrom, Toffoli. Ooh, there was one more person. Who was it?
Oh, well, Louis Domingue went there as well, but he also went to Calgary.
Okay, well, it was like one of those. It's like they can't lose all of them, can they? But yeah, they did. But before we get to the hockey deal that happened, let's talk about Saturday.
Yeah,
Canucks.
It was their Stanley Cup victory.
It was our Stanley Cup victory.
Yeah.
So many Stanley Cup victories given to this hockey team in the months of January and February. If it's Cody Hodgson going bar down in Game 8, it's Thatcher Demko being like, yeah, that's just another game for me. Yeah, no, it was crazy. He had like an expected goals against of like 5.5, gives up 2. Just insane, right? And you look at this team and that he signed for 4 more years at $5 million, and you think, okay, you have Demko, you have Hughes, you have Petey, who's kind of turned it around a little bit here, and that's great. Okay, the building, like you said, with Jim building like the building blocks, okay, yeah, the building blocks are here, but there's also like, a flaming pineapple on like every other line, like a rotten like a rotten fruit that is now like gained sentience, and it's been in the fridge that long.
I don't want to spend the whole show dumping on Jason Dickinson.
No,
but he is a pit of despair. Whoever his line mates are, there is a gravitational pull of just like life sucking from him.
I just think with Jason Dickinson, it's that it's just not a fit.
No,
and that it very much looks like, okay, if he was on another team, obviously his offensive ceiling in Dallas wasn't a tremendous amount. You weren't getting a 20 goal, 20 assist guy. It's really funny because now we're like, Brandon Sutter, come back, please. Don't have long COVID anymore.
He was only making $1 million. Now we were getting set.
We were
sink
so
our
set.
teeth. Like, let's get some 20 jerseys going.
Let's get some let's call Baton Rouge right now, baby. Let's get. So yeah, with Jason Dickinson, it's at least I can see what they were trying to do when they acquired him.
Yeah,
he had great defensive metrics. They thought, okay, we can get in the bottom 6. We still want to be defensively efficient and everything. That's great. It just hasn't worked.
No.
He hasn't worked at center, wing in terms of 5-on-5, and even his penalty killing is it is what it is.
There's better players when they try to put him in a, let's say a role out above him. There's better players above him, and when he gets put in a role in the 4th line, you have a line of Mott and Yamako and Chason or anybody that are just outperforming him. So he's kind of like stuck in the middle of everybody around him is doing his job better than him.
Yeah, and so that is the tough part, and where I think you look at it's all about numbers at this point in terms of like cap hit. So you look at his like 2.6 or whatever he's making, right?
It's too much.
Well, it is too much, but what you need to do with small cap hits like that in terms of the 1 to 2 million range, those cap hits that you acquire through free agency, trade, whatever, they have to be in a position where you're aiming higher than the cap hit.
Yeah.
Right. So you're taking like a lottery, like a little lottery ticket or a scratch off. You're saying, okay, I hope that this player that we get for 1.5 in the secondary market for a year or two comes in and outperforms the contract, and then, rinse, repeat, recycle, whatever. Sadly for this one, he has term and he has money, and he has not performed really for anything. And the thing with him is he's still young. He's 26.
Yeah.
So if they do want to move him, he has 2 more years of 2.6. They could. I've seen absurd takes like, oh, I think Pavel Zacha and Pavel Zacha for Jason Dickinson swap. I'm like, what?
I was reading a couple things too, and it's like you just laid out. He's making too much money than he should. He's making it for too long, and he's underperforming. So let's bring in a guy that's got some upside that's just lost in the shuffle in Zacha, and replace him with somebody that's
You're
worse.
not going to red paper clip this, right? So
Jason Dickinson red paper clip.
Like, you know what? It's fine if they can. I don't know if they can find like a pick. I mean, you might have to take a loss on the third that you gave up for him, so you might have to take like 5th back because it is money in term. But the thing is, it just seems like just an organizational fit is not there. I totally understand what they were trying to do when they were going for the acquisition of this player, but it just hasn't worked out. You look kind of up and down that lineup even more. Like, man, you look at Demko's performance and you really consider it and you really think, okay, like if he had a defense, like if he's doing this with a defense core that is missing Quinn Hughes, oh, Poppy. Like, I'm telling you, like, salivate, because and this isn't a thing where Demko's off in 2 years, right?
No.
This is this player locked in for 4 more years after this, and that's kind of what the path forward you got to take. But yeah, so it's like that. Can I tell you my favorite thing about the weekend though? Were all the scorching hot takes of people watching Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and then they're like. Well, I tweeted about it. I was like, someone in their drafts right now, Canucks Twitter, someone in their drafts has made a thing when being like, oh my God, this is such a hot take. I just got to wait for the time to say it. And they're just rereading it back to themselves in the
3 assists versus Arizona. I think it's time.
I
got to unleash this one.
We got to trade Hughes. You want
to know why Oliver Ekman-Larsson, he would look a lot better if he did not have any defensive liability on his pairing on any given night. And no offense to
Myers.
No, but
it's
Myers is usually taking those offensive chances, and OEL's kind of playing smarter hockey, which is what you would want in that pairing. If Myers is going to go crazy and pinch in like he's the Calgary Flames, you need OEL sitting back, not looking for the big shot or the opportunities from the point. When Quinn Hughes is out and OEL is put into that, you're the offensive generator. Of course, he's going to produce. There's a reason why his numbers were down.
Yeah.
But if the team wasn't so flawed fundamentally, you could have somebody. I hate that, and we're going to compare every defensively responsible defenseman to Chris Tanev. But if OEL had a second pairing Chris Tanev, somebody dull as dishwater that never left the blue line, he would probably have
Luke Hughes, Luke Shaw.
Well,
I almost said Luke Hughes. I'm like, oh my God, no, that's absolutely not the person you're talking about.
Luke Schen's out there getting 45 hits a game, fighting and fighting
around the world. Remember that?